Hi students, Ms. Garcia, Ms. Williams here, and we are going to video the chemical and physical changes exploration lab for you. And we are doing this in two parts. Today we will do stations 1, 2, and 3 and show you what the steps are that need to be, or that we're going to follow in the classroom, and you can follow as well on KVA, the same things. The very first thing that we have are our substances. In station 1, vinegar, milk, whole milk, and we want to talk about our physical properties. You need to write down what is the physical property of the milk. So the milk is what you would say, liquid, white, creamy, something like that. And vinegar is clear. You can waft it to smell it. It's a little stinky, okay? You don't have to say stinky, but it is a little bit.
I'm okay with that. It's also a liquid.
It is also a liquid. Now, we are going to measure in this measuring cup 30 milliliters or 1 fluid ounce. It's a whole cup basically, okay? And we're going to put this into a Petri dish. Okay, when we put that into the Petri dish, we are going to then do the same thing with another cup, putting the same amount,
I think
or half the amount. So just half of a fluid ounce, which would be about 15 milliliters.
Hopefully our Petri dish is large enough for that.
Okay, so we're going to see what happens when you put the vinegar into the milk. And I'm going to kind of do it to the side so you can see it. I think you'll see something happen right away. You can stir it with a popsicle stick, as Mrs. Williams is doing.
Oh.
And I don't know if you can tell, but it is clumping. I don't know if you understand clumping, but it looks like it's separated into some little clumps, and then the liquid is still there, but these little clumps, if we added maybe a tiny bit more vinegar, it might...
The longer it sits, the more it's clumping.
Yes, so it...
You can start to see that there's definitely...
Oh,
look
yeah,
at that.
yeah, it's almost solid down there. Solid. Yeah.
Yeah, that's... You
So-
can definitely see that there's a solid versus a liquid.
So there was definitely some kind of a chemical reaction because we see some things happening, okay? All right, so what happened when we mixed it? That's observed changes when mixed. Well, it separates into some solid and some liquid. I don't know if you want to smell it. Still stinky. All right. And then that's really, so that's for the milk and the vinegar for the physical properties. It's still white. Okay. It still has some clear or milky looking liquid.
Well,
It's not milk though. It doesn't look like milk. It just looks like, it's a little bit milky liquid, but not like the milk before. I don't know how to say that.
You could maybe try this at home if you have some milk and vinegar in your kitchen.
Yeah.
This is one of the stations you could try at home.
If you've got permission from your parent, you could do that. Okay?
All right.
All right. The second station, which we do have station cards that we will give to our students here, but just so you know what we're using, we are using vinegar again, not vinegar, I'm sorry. We are doing what we call, can you see it? Cabbage juice. It's purple. So we want to do the physical property of cabbage juice. It's purple. It's a liquid. It's a little stinky.
Trust me, my whole house stinks because I made cabbage juice last night.
Yes. Okay. And if you don't know what an antacid is, an antacid is something, it's like a medicine that is supposed to make your tummy feel better.
Alka-Seltzer is the main brand.
Yeah, this Alka-Seltzer is what we use here. and it's just half of a tablet. Now we are supposed to use a little bit of cabbage juice, and I don't have another cup. No, let's just use this cup. We'll say we're only supposed to use 50 milliliters, okay? And you put it into the baggie, okay? And again, you can see the purple color, but now you add the Alka-Seltzer, the half of tablet of Alka-Seltzer, and you close the bag as quickly as you can, okay? Close it quickly. Now, what do you see happening? This is your observation time. I'm going to try to hold it up for you. You should be able to see that there are some bubbles happening, okay? The bag is kind of cool. I didn't feel it before, though. I didn't really notice if it got cooler or if it stayed the same. I don't know.
I think it got cooler.
I think so, too. Anyway, look at that. It is almost all bubbles, right? Also, the bag is puffy now. So we could have talked about how the bag was flat before, but now it's puffy. And the reason it's puffy is because these little bubbles have what we call gas in them. So there's some gas in there. All right, we have trapped some gas. So that is station number 2. So the observed changes, the bag is puffy, there's bubbles in the liquid, there's still some purple, but it did get lighter, and the bag got cooler, okay? So those are all things that you need to write into your observations. We'll talk about debrief notes later. We don't need those for this particular lab. Okay, now.
Scoot over this way a little bit.
So we're going to use Petri dishes again on this third lab. We have some baking powder and some detergent, like soap detergent that you use in your laundry, okay? We're going to use cabbage juice again, okay? And we're going to put a little tiny bit of each one of these powders. So they're powders. This one, the baking powder, is very, silky. That's a good thing. It's no odor. The soap has it's kind of crumbly, and it feels, I call it coarse, but I guess
calling
rough.
It grainy.
Grainy, that would be a good one. Okay, so that would be the descriptions of those two. Cabbage juice, again, you can use the same observations for it. It is purple, it's liquid,
it stinks,
and it's stinky. Okay, now I am not measuring this, but we'll probably use about 30 milliliters of each into each Petri dish. And when what we're looking for is, does anything happen when I put half a spoonful of baking powder in this and stir it up? Is anything happening?
Well, it's fizzing.
I see some bubbles.
It's fizzing. It's getting lighter.
It is lighter. I think it's even lighter than the antacid was.
Okay, so
we'll come back to that one in a minute.
Baking powder is fizzing.
It's fizzing. It means bubbles. Okay, and it's lighter color. The purple is lighter color. It's more like a lavender color, if y'all know what that means. Okay, now we're going to do the detergent. Again, half a spoonful. And this one you almost don't have to mix up. You're going to see it right away. Look at that. Wow. What?
Wait a minute.
It was purple. Now it's green? What? That's so cool.
I did not expect that to turn green.
Isn't that amazing? So here we are. Our observations. When they're mixed, it turned green. I thought I saw some bubbles here on the edges. There's some bubbles here.
There are some bubbles, not as many.
I mean, yeah. So, I guess we need to do that. And, if you were doing this, you could keep stirring until it was all dissolved. But if you look back at this purple one, this lavender looking one, look, the bubbles
still
are
bubbling.
still popping, right? They're still coming up to the surface and popping. It's almost like little tiny volcanoes. All right, now that is how to fill out your observations for stations 1, 2, and 3 of this exploration lab.